Hello.
Hi, Kelly.
How are you?
I'm okay. And you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. I was waiting and no one was there, so I thought maybe I got it wrong, but I'm
No,
back.
you had it right. You had it right.
I'll
I
put my
was
video
like,
on.
no, I was madly typing an email and then I was like, oh, it's time. So I had to quickly log on myself.
Okay. I'll put my video on. I'm a bit
Ah,
shy. My hair looks a mess. I've just
don't.
come in shopping and I didn't realize the time, so I was like, oh.
No,
Okay.
it's great to see you. I'm so happy you could make it.
Yeah, I haven't finished everything though, but
That's okay.
my polo shirt came today and it's too small. So
Oh,
so I've ordered another one. It should be here tomorrow. So I can't finish everything until I have all of that. So
yeah. It's okay. I feel you. This one's actually too small for me. It's kind of like a
is it?
midriff shirt. So
Oh,
luckily no one ever sees it. Um, but I need to get another one. I'm just haven't really
yeah.
gotten there yet. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Okay.
I love this. I have new faces.
Bella, get the cat. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. We'll kind of chit chat for a few minutes because people always come within the first 5 minutes, so we'll just kind of catch up a bit and then I'll go through the holiday stuff. The holiday stuff is probably only going to take like 10-15 minutes, but
Okay.
I know
Oh
everyone
yeah.
lately has been panicking, so I wanted to go
Uh,
through it.
I did the training, the first lot.
Mhm.
I forgot to save half of it, so I'm having to do it again.
Oh no!
I know. So I couldn't believe it. I went to open it this morning to see what else I could do. And and I thought, oh, I finished it all. Where's it all gone?
Oh no!
Yeah, so I've saved about half of it, but hopefully I'll remember it all because it's not difficult, is it? A lot of it is quite
True.
self-explanatory.
Most of it you can kind of. Some people just kind of wing their way through it and don't even properly go through it. But it is
I did
important
go through it
information.
properly.
Yeah, it is important information. Yeah.
Yeah, I did go through it properly, but I want to get to the practice screen. So, to practice all these lots of
Bits and
different
pieces.
things on it. Yeah, but I can't do that till I finish that. Oh, so and I can't
Almost
do
there.
the video.
You're
Can't do the
almost.
video until the shirt comes. Oh, long sleeves, okay? Are they?
Yeah, that's what I had at first. And it was too big actually. So my first one was too big. This one's too small. I haven't found just right yet.
Long sleeves. It's too cold here for short sleeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been. Luckily, I haven't been cold this winter. I do have a black kind of small sweatshirt, and occasionally I'll actually put that on underneath this, which is horrible because this is too small anyway. So
Oh,
it just doesn't work.
can't we put anything over the top if it's really cold, or just
Not over
underneath?
the top, but under it. A lot of people will put like a long sleeve, like thermal or something underneath.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that works. But I think
Especially
they
as
typically, yeah.
they forecast snow in the next couple of weeks. So yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
And I may be going to Portugal in the next few weeks, so as well. And there's no heating over there, and it's freezing. And in the evenings, it's absolutely freezing. So I will need my thermals. Definitely.
Yes. Yeah. I love this job because I can wear sweatpants and whatever else I want down below. But as long as I'm wearing this, I'm fine. So.
I don't think I'll ever wear anything but elasticated waists ever again.
It's just a perk. I mean, it's great.
Oh dear. I've had my pajama bottoms on before now.
I have lots of comfy pants. Like I have my sweatpants. I have most of my I have tights. I don't actually own any proper pants anymore.
Proper what? Pants. Oh, that's American.
Sorry, what do you call them?
Trousers.
Trousers. Oh, trousers. Yeah, I did know that actually. Yeah.
I always say, when I'm explaining the difference in English and American, I always say only Superman wears pants on the outside. Okay.
I completely forgot that. I spent a lot of time in the UK last year, and it always threw me off because I always said pants, and they would just laugh hysterically at me because I could never get it right.
Remember that in England, only Superman wears his pants on the
Only
outside.
I've got to that will
Yeah.
stick in my head. I love hearing things like because that will actually stick. Whereas otherwise, I'm so used to saying it, I won't even
Yeah.
think about it.
Oh dear. I can tell actually it's quite hot because I was rushing around the supermarket. I just came in and put my shopping away. Now I'm hot.
Well,
So
I
I've
am
got
really glad that you both made it. That's really good. Sometimes people come late, and it's always like I never get everyone at one time, so it's always just a few. But I will tell you, we're gonna go through this, and then if you guys obviously have questions, or if you want to talk about teaching or onboarding, or any questions that you have about anything, we can talk about that as well.
Okay.
But I did actually, I posted one topic when I posted it originally, and then I'm like, wait, it's a really relevant time of year to go through this because everyone's, talking about the holiday, everyone's talking about bookings and how holidays affect that. So I thought it would be a really good time to cover off the Chinese holidays in particular.
Okay.
So you can plan accordingly. So, if they have a really big holiday and it's not going to be super busy, you may want to take time off, or you may want to make sure you book in extra hours, which we'll talk about. But anyway, we'll quickly go through. So, gotta move my camera so I can actually see what I wrote. I will post this up too, so this will get posted along with this video, so you don't have to. And tell me to shut up if you have questions, okay? Just say, Callie, shut up, I have a question. And I promise. So everyone panics over the holidays, but what I always say is it's the same as our countries. If there's a holiday like Christmas, or 4th of July in the US, or Queen's birthday, or any of those type of things, we're celebrating, right? So I'm trying to think of different ones. I live in Australia, so no, Queen's birthday was big, but I couldn't really think of many more for the UK.
I don't think we have any holiday for the Queen's birthday.
Oh, my fault. Okay, well, we'll go with Christmas. We all do Christmas. So if you think about that, that's a time where we typically take off work, or with our families. We're not thinking about, studying for anything. We're not thinking about things like that. It's the exact same in China, in Taiwan, in Japan. So don't panic when bookings drop for holidays. Everyone tends to, but don't. It has nothing to do with your teaching. It has the company's not, falling apart and have too many too many teachers, not enough students. It's not anything like that. It is normal, and pretty much all Asian companies see these fluctuations. And any companies, even if you were working with a European company, you would still see fluctuations for Christmas, for New Year's, for whatever. So I just say plan accordingly. So know when these holidays are. This will be posted, so you have all of the dates for this year laid out for you. And if you know there's a holiday coming up, maybe plan to do extra hours the week before, the week after, maybe open up some off-peak times, because those will typically fill if kids are out of school, so you can book different hours to normal.
Okay.
But those are the big things to keep in mind, is just if you know a holiday's coming, you can kind of brace for it, right? You can still keep your earnings there. It just may not be your normal schedule. Okay. Okay. So I need to move forward. There we go. All right. So a few important notes before I give you the holidays. So one big thing, and this is kind of similar to us, holidays in China are typically actually organized by the government and set up in a way so that families can have time off and travel. So things will not fall on always the same day. They may, add in some extra days so families can take off, or you'll see this as well. They will actually, if students have a long holiday, they will actually make them go to school on the weekends. So yeah, that face. That is something that's very different to most, other cultures. So like if they have a week off, you'll find that you'll see a bookings drop on the Saturday or Sunday before, or the Saturday or Sunday after, because all the kids are being forced to go to school. And often the adults are often forced to work those days too. So they sometimes, if they have a long holiday, they actually do have to make up part of it. So I did put that too. So keep that in mind. And I have pointed out a couple of times I know that happens, but there may be others that I don't know about or that I haven't had yet. So the other thing too is that kids, particularly, often have a lot of exams. So same as students in our cultures, they often have really big exams, and it's usually close to these major holidays. So a big drop in bookings just happened over the past week because pretty much all of our kids were taking exams ahead of their holiday because they'll get like a month off now. And you'll see the same thing coming up for summer and so on throughout the year. So a lot of times these kids are under so much pressure, like ridiculous amounts. So if they're taking exams, a lot of times they'll take, a couple days off their English classes. One big thing you have to know too, in this industry anyway, but particularly during holidays, you will take classes in some very strange places. I have taught in airports, I have taught in hotel rooms, I have taught, these are the kids, so I've literally taught a kid that was in the back of a car on the way to vacation. I've taught another kid that was staying at a 5-star resort. I've heard of people taking classes at amusement parks, at ski resorts, restaurants.
Wow.
So be prepared to deal with some classes, kids, maybe even adults, in weird places, and you just kind of have to roll with it, to be honest. I mean, you can't tell
I've
them
done
not to do it.
some.
Yeah, have
Sorry,
you?
yeah, airport, walking along the river, walking home from the gym. They're very annoying when they're walking. That is really
Yes.
annoying. Yeah, I've had quite a few, like, restaurants, yeah, and out in the park, Saudi
Oh,
Arabia, where they're cooking.
oh, yes. I've had some of those. I had a lot of
Yeah,
those.
out in the park where they're cooking, and I get introduced to the whole family. So,
Well, that can be kind of good. That's actually quite good too. I found that a lot. I've
nice.
had, yeah, they'll just kind of show it around and introduce you to everyone there. And it's kind of a
Yeah.
cool like connection
It's nice,
kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I've had all those, so yeah, not
Yeah.
amusement parks yet. So.
I haven't had that one, but I've heard of that one. I've heard a few stories of that one.
Mm.
I have had a train station that was rather annoying. Like the kid was literally walking through the city, went to
Yeah.
the subway station, and was just chilling there. And I'm like, I can barely hear you, dude. There's
Exactly. It's really
everything.
annoying.
So you kind of have to roll with it. But just keep in mind, particularly if they're on vacation and taking it, you're going to get some strange places.
Mhm.
I did put 2 websites here, so I've put information in this document, but you can always click either of those to see how the holidays work if you want to look for next year or whatever the case is. Okay, so our first big holiday, everyone calls it Chinese New Year, and we had a debate on the Facebook page, I think it was yesterday,
Lunar.
because one of the teachers had a group of Taiwanese students and mentioned New Year, and then she freaked out because
Mm.
they're Taiwanese, they don't identify as Chinese, so she was like, but it's fine. Lunar New Year is actually the technical kind of way, and that's usually the better way to address it, or just say New Year. But you will hear Chinese New Year or Spring Festival. This is like the biggest celebration in a lot of Asian countries. We've got China, Taiwan, Japan. I work with another Vietnamese company. All of these countries are deep into their celebration at this time of year. It does follow the lunar calendar, which means it does change every single year. So you'll kind of need to check when it's getting close to when it's actually going to fall. So pretty much anywhere from about mid-January to mid-February is when it falls. So the actual Lunar New Year is on the 25th. The holiday will start on the 24th with like the New Year's Eve, and then it goes for that following week essentially. So adults aren't working. Kids are actually off school. They start their holidays, I believe, starting different times, but usually around this week forward. So all throughout China, all the cities have different calendars for their kids. So some will get out as soon as, say, Monday. Others will get out maybe on Friday. So it'll vary a little bit. But they have a 4-week period where they're off school, which is good for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My Chinese friend told me it was the first week of February, so, and I thought it was January. You're gonna have to
Yeah,
tell her.
it's definitely January.
I know she's retired, but but she lives in Beijing. So.
She's not entirely wrong. So this week is the holiday, but there are more celebrations. There's like a lantern festival, and there are some things that fall after that. So it does continue into February. It's just, I think adults are still working the entire time, but kids have off. So celebrations actually go from the 24th, I believe it's for 18 days. 14 or 18. I apologize. I can't remember the exact number. But they will be doing different celebrations throughout. So that's something to keep in mind. So this is the biggest change during the year where you'll see bookings for us fluctuate a lot. Particularly during the holiday, you may get a lot more cancellations than normal because they're celebrating. It's a time where they're having meals with families. It's kind of like Christmas. They're getting gifts and lots of visiting relatives and things like that. But as soon as
Red pockets, isn't it?
yeah,
Red
yeah,
pockets.
yes. My kids are always happy to show me when they get their little red envelopes. But once the 30th passes, you'll see that you get a lot more kids booking all throughout the day, China time. So pretty much from about 8 in the morning through till 9 o'clock at night. So this is a good time to maybe make up some ground. So if you're really worried about bookings last week or this week or that week, make it up a bit in that time. But you still will see a lot of fluctuations because people will be traveling, kids may be doing other things. So you can get more bookings during that time though. Yeah, okay. So things will go back to normal safely, maybe last week of February, beginning of March. Everything's back to normal. So this is the biggest one to plan for, and it does change every year. So next year it might be in February for all we know. Okay. I'm not used to talking this much on these things. Okay, the rest of them, there's actually not a lot of Chinese holidays, but this is a relatively small one in April. I put the dates there for you. It's the Tomb Sweeping Festival. So kids have off school, families go to clean the tombs of ancestors. So it's actually a 3-day holiday this year. So kids won't have school, parents won't have work. You can get a lot more bookings on those days, honestly. You don't tend to get a lot of cancellations because they do their stuff kind of early in the morning, and then they'll still take their classes. So this one's not a very big one. I think most cultures have May Day or Labor Day. Which, yeah. So again, kids won't have school. This one, for some reason this year, this one is actually a long holiday for them. And again, I said the government plays with holidays to promote travel. So this one is actually running 1st through the 5th. So it's actually going to be a 5-day holiday.
Does this, sorry, is this for Japan and Taiwan as well?
China and Taiwan, I'm not sure about if Japan runs on the same calendar. I did this off of the Chinese calendar.
Okay.
You are right, we do have Japanese students, but I'm not sure. I can try to add in that information later if you want. It slipped my mind when I was doing it earlier. Okay. And then we also had that demographic.
But this is for Taiwan and China anyway, definitely.
Yeah. Taiwan does typically follow the same calendar as China, because most of their holidays would be the same. You just want to be careful about not calling them Chinese New Year or something like that.
Yeah. I've got Lunar New Year or Spring Festival.
Yes. Spring Festival is probably the safest. Or
yeah, I know a lot of the students that I've had always say Spring Festival is, if we're talking about celebrations, they always say Spring Festival. I've never heard them say New Year, so yeah. I
think it's because New Year is actually a day, but the festival is that 18-day period, so they actually talk about it as the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this one actually runs for a long time. So kids will be off school for pretty much a full 5 days, which means you can get a lot more bookings then. But be mindful, there's 2 dates at the bottom. So the weekend before, the weekend after, they'll be in school. So it's one of those times to adjust your bookings if you want to do more during the week and take your weekend off. It's a good time to do it. These last ones I'm kind of going through quite quickly because they're a little bit later in the year, so you can always refer back to this if you want, but they're all kind of much smaller and don't really affect things as much. This is another one based on the lunar calendar, so it does change every single year. You guys would have seen this. Have you heard of the holiday where they have the big dragon boats on the rivers?
Yes. I've heard of it, but I'd love to see it. Yeah.
I would too. I've always wanted to. I always see pictures of the kids have pictures, and I'm like,
do you know where it is? Everywhere? Was it everywhere or?
Well, I know quite a few. Like last year, quite a few of my kids were talking about seeing them. So I imagine they must do it in several places. And one of my students actually did tell me the story of this scholar, but I can't remember the name of the river. Yeah, where it happened.
Okay. No, I'm hoping to go to China, to Beijing, to visit my friend. That's why I was wondering. Maybe that's a good time to go.
I think there would be so many good times. I would love to go during the Lantern Festival as well, or the Lantern part of the Spring Festival. But they have some really cool celebrations. I would like to kind of go see all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this one's actually really cool, and your kids will talk about it a lot. This year it is 25th, 26th, 27th of June. And then there's the working day the following day. So it'll kind of be another situation like the one before. Summer holidays. This is the other big one, but this one actually is the most positive one. Kids are out of school for like 2 months, and your bookings will be like so much.
Really?
Kelly, last year I thought June I was going to have full bookings, but June I didn't have that many like in July.
No, not June. So it starts at the very end of June. June actually drops a lot because kids are in those exams I was talking about.
Yes, okay.
So it will likely be July and August will be your biggest 2 months. You'll get a few creeping in end of June and a few creeping at the start of September.
And how about the evenings in June? I didn't open evenings in June. I just opened mornings. Do you think?
Evenings, yeah. What's your time zone? I can't remember.
Central time.
Yes. Yeah, so you'll be fine. Kids will pretty much be taking classes, again, like 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. like every day.
Okay.
So it's a really good time, particularly if you like kids classes, to get lots of those in. But you'll still have the adults taking lots of classes too. So
okay.
it's really really good. Bookings are super high because they also run different like special programs. Last year they ran a phonics class for kids, and that was pretty popular. So those were like last year they were 45-minute classes. And they were like small group classes, and they had a whole pretty cool pay scheme about them as well. That may change this year because you can't do the 45-minute kids classes anymore. Might be something cool. But yeah, bookings typically go just crazy over summer, which is awesome. I love my favorite one of the holidays.
Okay,
I promise we're almost done. Mid-Autumn Festival and the next one go together. So Mid-Autumn Festival is the 1st of October. It's the one where they celebrate the brightest full moon of the year. It's called the Harvest Moon, and so you'll hear a lot about moon cakes if you haven't heard those already. Your kids will talk about them a lot. Most of the kids actually hate them because they're not that nice tasting. But I put it on this slide. I can't remember if I put it on the next one, but there's working days again. So 27th of September and 10th of October, which surround the next holiday, which is called Golden Week. It follows their national day of the 1st of October. Normally, these two holidays are not at the same time. So Mid-Autumn Festival will normally be a different time. So normally in September sometime. But this time they happen to overlap. This week, a lot of families tend to travel. Like this is one time where they will go on like some big holiday. Not all, but some. So you can get mixed results with this one. Some people get a lot more bookings because their kids are taking more classes. Others kind of drop off because kids aren't taking classes. Goes both ways. I think that's it. Okay.
That's all right.
I'm just going to get out of this so I can actually see you guys properly now. And I will shut up. So what are your thoughts?
It's okay because now it's going to ease me in gently, I think.
Pretty much. Yeah. I know last week there was like everyone was kind of panicking about bookings. I do know it went up a bit over the weekend, so it could go either way. You could get thrown into a lot of bookings, or it depends on if you start maybe during the holiday or around then, it might drop a little bit. So it could go either way.
Okay, right. Is there a way that I can only teach over 11 years old? Is there a way?
Kind of. So you can't specify age, but if you want adults only, you can. Once you have to do it once you're activated, because I was originally telling people to contact Rita, and Rita's like, no. So once you're activated to teach, if you do want adults only, you can message the scheduling team through our communication portal and tell them you'd like to request adults only.
So I can't request teenagers and adults.
No, because teenagers fall under the juniors. So
that's a shame, because
you can try. What you can do is when you make the request, say you want adults only, and ask them if they can also give you teenagers. I can't promise that they can do that, because a lot of it is there's like an algorithm to booking, so it's not always the schedulers that are going through individually putting classes. But they may be able to sneak you some from time to time.
Yeah,
and
that's a shame.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
Do they do the same thing for kids, or no? You can't request just
you can
kids?
request adults only, but not kids only.
Oh, okay.
Everyone's stuck with adults. I like them though, so I'm just making that face for the
I much prefer, but my favorite are the teenagers.
You're one of the few, I have to say, because I remember you saying that in our interview. You are one of the few who are like, give me teenagers. Everyone else is like, teenagers.
Really? No, if they were British teenagers, no. But other countries are fine. I love them. And I had that when I was actually in a school, that all my colleagues, they didn't like the teenagers. And I was like, no, don't give me the kids. Just give me the teenagers, please.
It's a fair exchange though. You should have no trouble getting the demographic that you want, because nobody else wants them. I don't mind. I get them from time to time, and luckily I've gotten the teenagers who are quite dedicated and they're really polite. But I've heard some stories just because sometimes they prefer to be doing this or, playing on their phone.
Yeah, but no. I used to take my students' phones and put them on my desk and say, I'm going to go down to the market tomorrow if you continue talking. And sell them all. But I can't do that on this.
That's true. Do the 16-year-olds have to have their cameras off too? Or no? They have a choice?
Everybody has a choice. So even the kids have a choice. So adults, you will find, never have their camera on. You'll just see a list of names. Yeah, that's good information. I don't think we ever talked about that. So, no students are required to have their cameras. Adults, I've never had an adult with their camera on. So what you see, and I've actually learned to really love this, is just you have their list of names with their microphone beside them so you can see when they talk. And I prefer it that way, because otherwise I imagine if I were staring at 3, 4, 5, 6 cameras, I would be like... Because like you were saying, people walk around in parks, or people do. And if I had to watch 6 cameras doing that, I'd lose my mind.
Wow.
That's true. It's strange. Well, I only had one adult, and I was wondering, like, why there was no camera. Like, it was just like his name. I don't know. It was different from the 16-year-old. But the 16-year-old had it off. So that's why I was wondering.
Yeah. A lot of times, like most of the time I find, and people have mixed findings on this, most of the time for the kids, they have their cameras on for me. I mean, I'd say maybe 90%, maybe a little bit less, depending. They usually do, and the teenagers do as well. But they can technically turn it off. There's nothing you can do. You can request them to turn it on, but the adults
don't have a camera, right?
They can, but they just don't.
I'm surprised at that, actually. Yeah. It's good for them.
It's good and bad.
Yeah, because they can see us, but we can't see them, and I don't think that's very fair.
I can kind of understand, because they can see like your mouth, for example, for pronunciation, which I do think is important. But at the same time, you can't see them, so you can't necessarily see when they're confused or. No,
you can't, can you? And you can't see if anyone's getting agitated or wants to. Or is being very quiet, but it's going to take me a while to get used to just the voice. So
you kind of do. When you get groups, particularly, and I've put a few. We've done. I've done a Zoom and some other resources and stuff on this, and I'm hoping to do another one, because what I did is actually went to several of my teachers, just like you guys, and I asked them how they were doing well at adults, because I knew that they had been absolutely killing it, getting all 10s. They were having successful big group classes, and they gave me a bunch of things that they do. So I'm putting it together, and we all pretty much came up with the same answers, luckily. But there are a few little bits and pieces that I didn't think of. So I'm hoping to. I've been saying this since Christmas, but I am hoping to finally get it done over the next few days and get that up for you guys, because it's I think there's a lot of things you can do to make sure that you're successful in doing it, but I mean, you guys also got hired for a good reason, so.
I have taught without the camera for Saudi Arabian women a lot, but that's all. Everyone else has a camera on, so but a lot of Saudi Arabian women don't have it, and I don't like it because I can't see their expressions or anything. But
it's plus and minus. Like I said, it's positive and negative. I like not being distracted by whatever they're doing. And I find the way to get around is just be very systematic. Like, because you were talking about maybe someone not participating or someone getting angry. I literally, without fail, go through ABC to get them to talk. So usually I don't miss anyone. I can tell if someone's not really feeling it, because you can judge a lot by their voice too. Maybe not all the time, but sometimes. So
yes, I know it's hard. Like me, the one and only adult that I taught, at the end he's like, oh, I felt like it went by too fast, and I was like, maybe I didn't extend enough or something. I don't know exactly what he meant by that. Like it went too quick because we were talking about everything, but we did. It was 45 minutes.
That's what you want. You'd rather someone finish the class and be like, oh, that went by really quick than, oh my God, that dragged on.
Yeah. They probably really enjoyed it, actually.
Yeah, that's what I would say, because I would say that if I really enjoyed something.
Yeah, because I have a student for 4 hours a week, 1 hour slots. And we never stop talking. He's just amazing. He's in Colombia, and 4 hours a week I have him for. And the time goes so quickly, and he even says, oh, the time goes so quickly, and he gets really annoyed when our time finishes. But
okay.
Yeah, 4 hours a week. So
I have to ask this, because this has nothing to do with iTutor, but it has to do with Cambly. Have you had the guy who has like 4 or 5 accounts? I believe he's an Asian guy, and he usually calls people to get them to either like read some story or analyze some story, and he's always got like, every time he calls he's got like a ridiculous amount of minutes, but he has 4 accounts. Have you ever he was really popular. That's why I was asking. He was calling, like he would just call, and I think I spoke to him like 5 times ago. This was like a year ago probably, but I just wondered if he was still on, that's all.
No, I've had a Japanese woman who was really annoying, who teaches English to adult women, and I was having to explain baby poo and stuff like this. What is that? And I'm like, oh God. but she wanted me to correct her lesson plan.
Wow.
Which was a bit annoying, but it was all about babies and breastfeeding and things. I was like, oh,
well, that would be a fun topic for however long.
Great. But no, I did one of my regular ones from Turkey. We had a conversation. He always sends me through a topic to talk about. And when I opened the topic, it was pregnancy. And I thought, oh, how am I going to talk to him about pregnancy? I was a little bit awkward, but
you get that. So you get that like here as well. Like I'm sure you like with your adult study, you always have your lessons. You always have some topic. Sometimes they're really good. Like sometimes they're like, I even learned stuff from some of the lessons. I did one on like classical music, and I'm like,
wow,
know any of that? But like usually, sometimes they're also very questionable, and you're kind of like, yeah, okay, we're just going to talk about random stuff for 45 minutes.
Oh dear.
My favorite one I had, and I think I've talked about this one in another session, but I had a lesson on raising daughters, which is that's a fair enough lesson. Like it's terminology around, being a mom and things you can do with your daughter. Except the woman I got, her only child was a son who was 2 years old. So it worked really well though, because I have 2 boys. So we talked about our boys for 45 minutes. We still covered the slides, but instead of what was actually on them, we just
extended. Okay.
I bet I'd be an expert on that. I have 2 daughters and 3 granddaughters.
There you go.
Be an expert.
But I think that's what it's about. Like, I think with the adults, you have the lessons, but it's really about making it your own and making it fit them.
I just don't understand why. Well, he did in the end when we were talking about pregnancy. He said, "Oh, my wife had a miscarriage a couple of weeks ago," and I'm like, "Oh, that's why he wants to talk about it." But then I'm like, "Oh, okay." Now it's like
it makes it a little bit more awkward.
Yeah, it did. Even made it even more awkward. But yeah, so okay.
But that's good though. Okay. Okay. So what other questions? Because I know we've got onboarding just started. So what questions have you come across in either your training or the teaching that you've done? Anything?
Me or
Either of you.
No, I asked you already in a message about this backdrop. Because I was going to use so much red ink, and then afterwards I'm going to need just the small one. So
yeah, and I think I did tell you that. So a lot of people have run into this, and I don't know why they haven't swapped the IT test yet. What I've been telling people, I think I told you this. Try the manual test. Did I tell you that?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, it's different, is it?
So yeah, the manual test will actually connect you. So the automated one runs, and then it's checked by someone. But I think if you do the manual test, you're connected with them straight away, where you can actually type to them, and you can say to them, look, I'm a new teacher. I plan to use the decorated background. This is what I have. My logo is here. And do that.
What I did, because it wasn't going through and it wouldn't go through, I just printed out a few, and I put my laptop right in front of me like this.
Okay.
And it took it.
And
I did it. Yes, it worked. I did it over and over, and finally I was like this, and it worked.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I might suggest that one. I have another girl, and she did print it all out, and hers is beautiful, but she failed because they said her logos were too small. But I think that will solve it if she just literally.
Mine too. It kept telling me it was too small, and I was like, "But it's here." But yeah, that worked.
Yeah,
I think that's.
So you've got 3 on an A4 sheet, yeah?
Yeah, well, I don't know if you remember. I think probably I can't remember for in our interviews. I know for you I had it, but I'm not sure, Amanda, if I had it. I had the full wall done, and this was.
No, you just had that when I did it. That's why I asked you.
I did this one, the one that you print from the thing. I had like 3 or 4, and I taped them all together. So I just put them back here, you know.
That could be a good way to do it. That way you don't use a lot of ink, but you can still kind of cover them.
Yeah.
You only need one. I just cheated because I had my full background made of these, so I just took one of them and stuck it up. It did the job.
You've got to take it down for different schools, haven't you? I've got to make sure I take it down. Yes.
That's the hard part. But
I like how we're all laughing. You're like, yeah, I did forget one day. So far, I've done really good because I was used to swapping between 2 companies with my logo anyway. And then iTutorGroup is completely different. So I knew I had to swap. But since I now have, because I have 3 companies and they all have logos, I did an interview the other day, and it was back to back with a class, and there was no time in between. And I finished my interview, went straight into my class, and as I'm saying hello, I'm like, luckily it was one of my regulars, and I don't even think she knows.
It's a good job you don't still need the big backdrop, isn't it?
I
know. Have a big problem. You'd be like this.
One time I left the shirt on from the other company. I felt so bad after I was done. I was like, oh my goodness. I was so into the lesson, I didn't realize I was wearing the other color.
Oh, do some other companies have uniforms, do they?
Yes, like like iTutor has red and VIPKID has orange. So
yeah.
Okay.
I've got my VIPKID. I've got my dino shirt with the dino eyes in the face, and then I've got another one. I've got this for iTutor. I'm contracted with other companies too, so I actually have the Magic Year shirt, which I've worn like 3 times because I don't teach for them very often. So I have this collection.
You have to be for some of those companies. You have to be in America or Canada, don't you? So
yeah, VIP and Magic Years, those 2.
Yeah, I am looking for other companies, European companies. That's what I'm trying to do, and I found one that's in Russia, I think, and one in Poland, I think it was. But I'm trying to look
VIPKID and NKID.
No,
you have different ones
names now. I can't remember. One began with Barons or something. Not Kids. Different. It wasn't Kids.
Oh, they're
no kids. I'm looking for No Kids.
The Russian one, is that one Qing?
Could have been. Could be. can't
The reason I
remember.
asked, my husband works for them. He's been with them for
Ah,
over a year now. He loves them. He's quite
really?
good. He's not a kids person either, so
Ah.
he does the adults with them.
No, teenagers, great. But if I could differentiate between kids and teenagers, be great. Yeah.
I do say
So,
try. So just send them a
yeah.
message and like specify
Yeah.
adults, because that'll be the first priority. But say if you could also
'Cause I
sneak me
have
some teenagers.
I have a 12-year-old on Cambly, and he's great, from Turkey. A 12-year-old, and I had a 9-year-old. So you know, but the 9-year-old's English was amazing, absolutely fantastic. But if I had to start with ABC, I think I'd go mad.
Yeah,
Where are
it'd be harder.
Cambly from? Cambly, is it from all over the world or who?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah, it's American, but it's all over the world.
Yeah.
But the pay isn't very good. So
Okay.
I will let you guys know, because I don't want you to think I've cut you off. We're gonna get cut off in about 30
I know.
seconds anyway,
Yeah,
so it'll.
okay.
Yeah, I'm sure you got the notification, but I didn't want you to
lovely
think
to
I'm
meet
dishing.
you. I don't know your name, but lovely to meet you.
Jean.
Jane,
Nice to-
okay.
I like
Nice to
that.
see
I
you
don't
again,
know your
Kelly.
name, but it was lovely.
Yes.
It's lovely to chat.
No, I'm really
Okay.
glad you guys came. Hopefully, this is every week, so we do different topics. So feel free to